All right, welcome to News in Nigeria. And this morning we are going to have a debate between two renowned politicians of opposing, political views. Believe me, I would like you to stick to this video to the end because I bet you it's going to be an interesting, debate, interview, and dialogue. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kule.
Yeah, good morning to you.
All right, so in review of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, 1 year before Tinubu came on board, the economy wasn't this hard because we are reacting to what is going on in the country. A bag of rice before Tinubu came on board was 35,000, but immediately he came on board, and when he announced subsidy is gone, everything shot up, and now a bag of rice costs 90,000. Mr. Chinedu, first and foremost, your reaction in 1 minute, then I'll get.
Yes, if you look at anybody that is telling you there's a hope in the tunnel at the end of the day, this is an APC government running up to close to 9 years now, and we have been believed that Tinubu himself was part of the last era, led by Buhari and others. And whatever input that he would have had, he would have contributed it there, would have seen a kind of change, drastic change in Buhari's administration. But unfortunately, the war started immediately. APC as a party, in quote, came into power. Nigeria started experiencing, the taste of bad leadership. But it became very significant under Tinubu because of the way he was driving his own agenda, that he called a renewed hope. But if you look at the term, a miracle economy, that's what we are running now. Currently now, the economy is called a miracle. And you know what economy means to a surviving nation like Nigeria. Nigeria has been facing a lot of challenges, but since APC came in, can you point one thing that you can be proud of? Buhari did. They said it then that because Buhari does not have access to Tinubu as it then, that was why Buhari failed. They said he failed. Even when Tinubu came in, he said his men, his Lagos boys in Asurok, we are also saying that actually Buhari failed. You understand? But how do Nigerians now, transmit and transform and understand the concept of what APC is trying to, impart on Nigeria and Nigerians are doing? If you look at it very well, you begin to experience that for 9 years now, Nigerians themselves have refused to work for the country. And the country has refused to work for Nigeria under APC administration. But as a progressive, and also as somebody who has been part of democratic struggle over the years, for me, I expected some decisive actions. And unfortunately, we couldn't see that.
Okay, Mr. Kule, what's your reaction?
I think, I think I have to concur with my fellow brother here.
Really?
There's some decisive action the president must take, right? Has to take for him to give himself a better, what's it called? Better followership. And I can tell you what are the decisive action. And let me even now throw it back to prior to the election. All the three major candidates, their policy was to remove oil subsidy. And the oil subsidy we are talking of, the Buhari administration, the what's it called, the budget for the subsidy can only last for half of the year, in which was towards
So are you saying this would have been the same case if it was Obi or Atiku?
It will have been, because why it will have been is a country that slept in slumber for so long that we have four refinery, nothing is working. A country that slept in slumber for so long that we are not productive at all, that all what we've been buying is importing goods to Nigeria instead of producing goods in Nigeria. A country that has been on decay, of productivity. So what do you expect? And I can say, this man that said is Emilio Kan, and he has to walk the talk of Emilio Kan by taking decisive decision. Because, mind you, it has turned to a trend of any government that come in the power, the government they ousted from the power, they will never work in hand to make the country better. Right? It's operation pull him down, the way the previous government was pulled down. So its successive government has been experiencing that. And it's not like we're talking about the advanced world. where when government leave the power, the outside government will be putting an inciting, I mean, a directive to the government in power, in which Obi was trying to do, right, which is as embarked on. But likewise, people look at it as a sentimental, statement he has been making, because the government of PDP you belong to destroyed a lot of things in this country. Anybody that's been into all those three parties, APC, PDP, let's just mention two parties. Those two parties cannot wash his hand clean, because they are part of the debt that Nigerians are trying to clear up now.
When PDP was in power, don't forget that Tinubu also did everything possible to pull down PDP.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you. What we are lacking.
Is Tinubu also guilty of that?
All the you see, politics is about trickish arrangements. You have to be tricky before you can just malign the government in power, that they are not doing anything, and they pull the government in power down for them to bring in a new cajole for the citizens to abide with. And I can tell you, naturally from onset, right, Tinubu issue started from the hatred developed on him, because they said they brought Buhari in, and he has said Buhari, 10 of Tinubu cannot stop Buhari coming to that presidency. People don't know. He can only have his own little effort on it, because the northern the power has to come to that north, right? Because what's it called, Yaradua was not allowed to finish his tenure, in which a southerner occupied for like how many years?
Okay. So since when Tinubu came on board, I think over 20 international companies have existed this economy. Just yesterday, the popular August, these are people making pampers and this thing, and they've announced that they will be leaving the Nigeria in the next 1 week. I mean, how can Tinubu actually stop this from happening? Let me start from you.
Okay, it can really stop. And mind you, as some industries, investors are.
Over 20 have left. How many have entered? How many companies have come in? How many? How many? No speculation.
I can tell you, over 20 are coming in now. I just narrate what's it called for you, the gas flaring they say. It's being done by.
Are you being sincere? Over 20? Okay.
Cement of damage.
Yes, yes. Let me respond to that, because we are talking about reality. You can fake everything in life, but you cannot fake reality. Tinubu's administration has shown incompetence in every ramification, and that can be. You can see so many professionals, experienced economists all over the world. When you cannot actually market yourself before the international community, how can you now attract an investor? How can you now give people hope?
What about the infrastructure? What about the infrastructure?
Bros, let me tell you, you are talking about how and ways by which the major three political candidates as at that time would have gone about the issue of floating of the naira and of course subsidy. Bro, let me tell you, I think to an extent, it was hurriedly done by Tinubu's administration, and that actually backfired, because the people who are supposed to be carried along, that might possibly compromise, was not actually consulted in that regard, and the backlash of what we are seeing, is taking toll on the economy. But the first thing I wanted to do, if I am in a position to be the president, is I would have capitalized on how to enhance major sectors that can boost production. Tinubu's administration is not about production boost. What he is running is purely, a bureaucratic system of government, whereby money move from one office to another. That's when he tells you a miracle economy, so to say, when you look at the concept of a miracle economy, does it look at something that has to do with the entity called Nigeria? It is telling you now that this is actually a system, a governance, that belong to him, not about Nigeria. And he has shown that. Okay, look at the Lagos Calabar, suspended. Tell me what the mess is all about. But let us leave ethnicity and talk about competence. Place these three people, even the way and manner of which Obi would have gone about the issue of subsidy, don't tell me that it will not be different from what we are having today.
Your co-debater said that everybody would have experienced the same thing.
Yeah, everybody marketed the issue of subsidy. Agreed. Well, agreed. But remember that the same Tinubu, when Jonathan was in power, called it voodoo economy. The same Tinubu, then how can you come years after and you tell me that subsidy is a good policy? But are you now reading some kind of sentiment, propaganda in all these things, all these people that call themselves, with all the world experts that surround Jonathan's administration, but still, the likes of Tinubu, Ulai Muhammad, and Buhari, and all of them carried a major propaganda against subsidy. But today, somebody that does not know what is called subsidy announced on a platform where he was handed over power, inaugurated, that is, he does not understand what it means, and that's what Obasanjo is saying. That's what a lot of people are saying. You don't know, you don't have the required technical knowledge, know-how, to go about how to navigate it positively to the benefit of Nigeria, and that is where he has failed woefully.
Okay, Mr. Kule, Obasanjo's call out of Tinubu that Tinubu lacks economic understanding of Nigeria. And secondly, do you think Atiku and Obi would have shouted as Tinubu screamed on day one that subsidy is gone?
They will have failed woefully. I think I have to counter what this my colleague is saying. They will have failed woefully.
Just as Tinubu is failing?
Yes, as it's failing. When you want to catch a thief, will you announce that this is the day I'm coming to catch you? Subsidy is gone and it's gone forever. Anybody that is still relying on that will have allowed subsidy to stay. And I can tell you heartedly, we have to look through the mirror. As it is now, we've never had it so good with the highest production of the crudes we are having now. I can tell you, NNPC is making enough profits in which we never made before. You can go and verify it. When you verified it, come back and tell me if I'm lying, that I'm a liar. And that was the production of increase in production of the crude that makes the governors, the federal allocation, the share now. Before, under Buhari, it was around 600 million. Each one of the governors are collecting trillions of naira now. Now you now have to ask your governors. I have to ask my governors. The money that they are disbursing from federal allocation accounts, what are they make use of it? What is the usefulness, the impact on the citizen? And I can tell you, you see, we citizens, I won't blame.
Yeah, but the governors are not in charge of the monetary policy. They are not in charge of dollar. They are not in charge of the security. My question to you is, under Obasanjo, we pumped as much as 2 million barrels per day. But under Tinubu now, the highest they've done is 1.2, 1.3. But here you are saying we are doing the highest.
But what's happened on that? Do you have functioning refinery under Obasanjo? Do you forget that?
Do we have anyone functioning now?
That's what I'm saying. That's the debris of yesterday is what we pile up to today. And I can tell you, under Obasanjo was the one that started turnaround maintenance, bringing his cronies, they turn into political issues, bringing their cronies from PDP to come and repair. I can tell you, it started with what's it called? There was one man he started with, which happens to be a PDP guy. And what they do is they will just go there, turn around the maintenance, turn around the refinery.
Obasanjo said Tinubu knows nothing about the economy. You are not talking anything about that.
The economy he said Tinubu knows about is the.
He said he doesn't know anything.
Is the economy that has been damaged under Ghana Must Go of Obasanjo era. Do you remember we had nothing like Ghana Must Go then? Do you remember that we had nothing like do or die politics in which anybody can just do anything just to win election, go any length to bribe people to win election? You get what I'm saying? When you are a leader, you must be dishing out statements that will bring progressive to the country, to the followers, because you stayed along in that route. I think you've been former president, military president, you've been former state president, democratic president. and a government of Obasanjo that was saying election is do or die, election is for the cronies of his party member. And I can tell you, the Wabara house in Abuja there was supposed to be the first point of good governance in Nigeria. It's still under rent. This is a government that launched appeal fund for them to build their new, what's it called, the party house. A government that cannot build a party house is one that will build Nigeria.
Okay, we see during all this era, you know that Obasanjo just took over from military, and you can see the level of things he was able to do. Several institutions was established, the best brains in the country, as at that time we saw it in Obasanjo's administration. You understand? And we saw the level of which that system was transferred to Jonathan, where Nigeria was recorded as one of the best performing economy in Africa, if not the world, as at that time. You know, but just hold on, sir. You know, so the issue of what Obasanjo is saying, you know, is that APC, as it stands today, has no knowledge of how to navigate Nigerian economy to Eldorado. Okay, we immediately Tinubu came into power. 2 months after, 700 manufacturing companies in Nigeria shut down. That's one. Two.
You said why would they have to?
They have to go because the government of PDP under Obasanjo, under Jonathan, under what's it called, the woman, this erudite woman that they hired then. You could remember what handed that woman. That what's it called, Konjo well.
How does that affect the 700 manufacturing?
That's what I'm telling you now. The woman said, let's save for the rainy days in this country. And Nigeria is a catchment area. Talk of it. Those investors that you said they go, some are coming back. A lot of them have come back to replace them. Nigeria is a fertile land.
No, I don't want to. Maybe you didn't understand. I'm talking about indigenous manufacturing companies that have shut down, not foreign investment. Okay, so just hold on. Just hold on. You know, maybe you didn't get me, bro. Let me tell you, the issue of floating of the naira and of course the subsidy issue, you know, took a toll on those indigenous manufacturing companies, and they could not be able to maintain the running costs. One, because the infrastructure that would have given life to those companies are no longer there. And that's what I'm saying, that Tinubu did not actually sit down, you know, and map out a proper blueprint on how to, you know, move Nigerian economy forward. By at least one, if you claim, because we knew that under PDP as at that time, we are still hitting about 7,000 to 8,000 megawatts in Nigeria. So there's a lifeline for manufacturing companies, engineering companies, that even we are attracting. Then how come Tinubu's 6 months thereafter in power, all the whole major companies in Nigeria are shutting down and running away? How come? That it tells you that he does not stand, people does not understand the direction of his government. That is one. As an investor, you must understand the direction of the government is going. If you look at our diaspora remittance today, it has dropped. Go and check the record there.
Why?
Because of the type of system, you know, that they don't deem it fit. Because if you go to bank now, bank has developed another concept entirely, courtesy of this man administration. A lot of things has internally, you know, mechanisms that were put in place that can give life to, you know, a struggling economy like Nigeria has already, you know, died completely under Tinubu's administration. You know, and that is why you continue to see this a kind of response coming from all over the quarters. But unfortunately, let me tell you the gospel truth. The man knows. Saying Tinubu came out publicly, added to the May 29. I told Nigerians to be patient. He knows what he's talking about. He knows to an extent the expectation of Nigerians. And Tinubu, even though we know that he's the first person in the history of this world that was not voted for, he became president.
Of course.
So he said Nigerians should exercise patience. He said patience. I said okay. Then instead of the man coming out to tell you, okay, I have done this, I have done that, I have this is what I plan. We're going to do. At least we're beginning to see some of these policies, giving life to Nigeria. We are not seeing it. But what he did is quickly to run to National Assembly and start talking about national anthem. Such an embarrassing thing. We should be talking about it.
Okay, Mr. Kule. Immediately Tinubu came on board, Nigeria dropped from the #1 economy in Africa to #5 now. Is Tinubu still working like this?
Tinubu is working well.
And we dropped.
I can tell you what brought this antagonist. What brought this antagonist is diverse elements we will put into what's it called our election.
Under the same diversity, PDP was able to take Nigeria to #1. PDP was still able to take Nigeria to #1 economy in Africa.
They did that through Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was telling them, let's save for the rainy days. Let's save for the rainy days. What happened? You see, I've never seen a callous what's it called, party like PDP. Okonjo-Iweala said, let's save for the rainy days. The chairman of the governors forum then, was he an agent? Was he from the moon? Was he not PDP guy? Rotimi Amechi? No, it was share the money. Yeah. Let me talk. He said, let us share the money. We have to share the money. And the slogan of the PDP was share the money. And that has really inflated the citizens, the masses.
It was recorded that it was Fashola, Oshiomhole and co.
What is the population of majority carry the vote? Are you telling me that the APC have more party governors than the PDP? The majority carry the vote, and the party members of the PDP were the ones that raised that issue that they need to share the money. And Okonjo-Iweala, there was that erudite technocrat, status he has. He said, let's save money for the rainy days. The rainy days has come now, and the person now, what happened to his father? They went on to kidnap. They went on to kidnap his father.
I think to an extent, some of the things that will be said here, for me, I think it's a bit irrelevant, but because we must actually face the fact of what transpired when Amechi, some collapse elements in PDP that moved to APC. Bro, remember, I said some collapse elements, when the issue of governors forum came, the APC took advantage of that, and those people that actually moved to APC, talking about led by Amechi, Saraki, them, Tuku, they went. Bro, listen very carefully. Under Jonathan government, they moved. And when that issue of sovereign fund, you remember, was introduced into the system, after so many time, they found out that they have saved for the rainy day. What did they do? These things were instigated by these elements, with Tinubu and Buhari. That very money that they saved was be shared. They took the woman to court. Are you not aware? Why are we being funny about this kind of issue?
Why call Tinubu? Tinubu was not in government.
No, you know why I mentioned Tinubu? Okay, sorry, I'm not. This is not a personal thing. Tinubu said it publicly that is his turn. That is the one that brought Buhari to power. You know what he said? And you want to tell me that he brought Osibanjo, he brought all the people that surrounded Buhari's government at that time? Is you know what? Am I the one that said it? So, telling you to, he was one of the pillars that were behind all these that were the things that were happening in PDP at that time. And those that moved to PDP, from PDP to APC, were the people that stood against that policy of Okonjo-Iweala. Today, that money was shared under intense pressure. So, unfortunately, people that have baked knowledge, can come out and say anything on that regard. But Nigerians themselves, they still keep a proper record of actually what transpired and what led to any state where we find ourselves to date. If you look at what PDP was actually doing, it's not a matter of surrounding yourselves with Pro-Abiola, Lagos boys, Yes, they helped you become president, either by omission or commission. No problem. But being there, you have to look at the larger aspect of your mandate.
Finally, Mr. Kule, finally, what will be your camelback breaker for Tinubu?
Camelback breaker. Can you?
When will you be disappointed of Tinubu?
I can never be disappointed of Tinubu because this is a guy that came into the terrain with hatred of diversity, hatred of ethnicity. You can see what my fellow guy is saying here now. There will be one election. Obi came third. They said they stole his mandate. That's the propaganda they've been carrying out. And about this APC, some of these APC members, that guy, when Jonathan was stranded, it was these same people that they are castigating now. None of them could be able to talk out, speak out to, the free Jonathan from the captivity. Jonathan was there in Akeolagoda house. That's the deputy president's house where they allocated to deputy president. It was this same Nigerian group in which Tinubu was involved, Bakare was involved, Koshenika was involved, that there must be doctrine of necessity. I think our people, they should think deeper than ethnic and diversity.
All right, thank you. Since you say you will never be disappointed.
Well, let me tell you,
All right,
I think it was a cultivated reasoning. If you look at his last response to what we are trying to review here, and I never mentioned Obi ever since I was talking. I said he is the first president in the history of the world that was not voted for. He became president. I didn't mention Obi. See, let us. I don't want to sound improper on this platform.
What do you mean Tinubu was not voted for? He had more votes than the person that came second.
Let me explain that.
How did he become the president?
Let me explain that. When I said he was not voted for, you should understand what manipulation and rigging and a role played by money, politics.
This case was taken to the court and this man won.
Of course, now in a judiciary, you can see what is happening in the judiciary. Now at the time, we decided to have it the way because we want to place civility into it. Excuse me. No, it's not a matter of what Nigerians. The evidence of what happened in 2023 is what Nigerians are struggling today. See, when you carry injustice and you want to transfer, you are not going to transfer justice. You are going to transfer injustice.
Okay, finally, Mr. Chinedu, do you think there's still high hopes that can come out from this administration?
Get to see these ministers that came from Lagos. Who are they? These Lagos boys. You surround yourself. Go abroad. Behave like, see, bros. To an extent, introduce a bit of radicalism in Indians. Bring experts, Nigerians, Yoruba, wherever they are all over the world. Let them come and defend Nigeria in the international community. Because we cannot say a word when they take him there. That's why the weight of World Bank policy, IMF policy, he continued to drain his administration. Nobody can judge. Who is going to speak? Is it Tinubu? Now, Majijiji. Is he the one that's going to defend Nigeria? Is he the one that is going to speak on? He made himself a petroleum minister. What does that tell you? Jonathan never made himself petroleum minister. Buhari, petroleum minister. Tinubu, petroleum minister. Bros, now words of the Niger Delta. That's what they are after. They're not after leadership. If they're after leadership, at least let one sector work. If it's electricity, let us enjoy it for 24 hours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chinedu. Thank you, Mr. Kule, for your time. All right.
If you give me.